Mashburn here again, and today we're going to talk about the muscle lab of the arms today. And let me get started. So we only have 2 more labs to do. We get the arms, and then we're going to do the legs. Alright, so I'm going to continue using the list that you have in Blackboard, so make sure you've got that with you so you can kind of follow along with me. Again, you have 2 options to watch these videos and then the YouTube videos. So hopefully between those two sets, that will help you learn your muscles. And I do recommend, if you haven't done it already, go to Biodigital Human 3D at google.com. Use Chrome or Firefox. It's a great free website that you can manipulate the muscles, turn them around 3D, and there's a little information about each one. So it's a good way to kind of to study your muscles since you're not here in lab and can't really rotate them yourself. So take advantage of that. It's a free software, and I'm actually using some of the images from that. You've probably noticed when you had your bone test, some of those images came from Biodigital Human. So it's a great tool for you and me. All right, so the first muscle we're going to do of the arm is the deltoid. And here's one, and here's one. And basically the deltoid's based, the name is based on its shape. A delta is an upside down triangle. So what you need to know about the deltoid is the origin is up here on the clavicle, and the insertion is down here on the humerus. And so look at your fibers. If these shorten, that's going to raise your arm. So elevation of the arm and also abduction of the arm, because it's going to take the arm away from the midline. If you look, the deltoid has fibers that run all the way around, so the deltoid can raise your arm, kind of elevate it in several different directions. Okay, so you can raise it to the front, the side, and to the back. It's antagonistic to the latissimus dorsi, because remember in the butterfly stroke, your deltoid raises the arm up, latissimus dorsi brings the arm back down. So those are antagonists. Your next 2 muscles are paired muscles. You have your biceps brachii and your triceps brachii. So biceps and triceps brachii. These are named, what am I missing? Brachii, brachial arm, biceps and triceps. Cephalic means head, so sept means head, so biceps means it's got 2 heads, and triceps means it has 3 heads. So if you look at a biceps or a triceps, you'll kind of see it's got these little heads on it, and I'll show you a picture of that in just a second. But these are paired. These are antagonistic muscles. The biceps flexes the arm, and the triceps extends the arm. So in order to find them, you look on the front of the arm for the biceps. This would be your biceps, here and here. On the back of the arm, this is the anterior side, and this is the posterior side. So here's your biceps. And you can kind of see there's 2 little, like this little split here. That goes to one head, and that goes to the other head. This is your triceps on the back of the arm. And it's got, there's a 3rd one right there. So it's almost looks like 3 muscles that are fused together to make one. This is the same with the biceps. It almost looks like 2 muscles fused together to make one. So here's your biceps brachii. And here's your triceps brachii. On this model, here's your deltoid. This is the biceps here, and this is your triceps. And on this model, here's your deltoid, and here is your triceps. All right, so what do they do? The biceps flexes, brings your forearm closer to your shoulder, and your triceps extends the arm. Your next muscle is the brachialis, and I call the brachialis, it's kind of the sandwich muscle, and I'm trying to find the best way to see it. And it's named, brachialis, named on the brachial region. And it's a sandwich muscle. It's kind of between the biceps and triceps. So one of the best places to see it is actually on this model here. And you can see, here's your biceps, here's your triceps brachii, and this muscle here, this is your brachialis, okay? Here is your triceps again, here's your biceps right here, biceps brachii, and then this muscle in between it, sandwiched in between it, is the brachialis. The brachialis, this action is to flex the pronated arm. And so if you think about it, when your arm is in this position, which is supination, which is when palms up, when you flex, it's just a straight linear movement, just like this, like you're doing a biceps curl. If you want to touch your shoulder, if you want to flex your arm this way, you have to turn your hand over. Okay, so to turn your hand over, pronate your hand, and flex your arm that way. That's using your brachialis. The next muscle is the brachioradialis, and you'll notice it's one that's got the origin and the insertion listed. The brachioradialis, the origin, we write it down, brachio. So brachio meaning arm, upper arm, radialis meaning radius, bone, the radius of the arm, of the lower arm. It goes from the brachial region to the radius. So it's this muscle here, here's the, it goes like that. It goes from the brachial region down to the radius. Remember, your radius is on your thumb side. So the origin is the distal humerus, so it's going to be attached to the humerus here, and the thyroid process of the radius bone. There's actually there's a thyroid process on your ulna, which you learned about in bones. There's one on your radius as well. And so it does like that. So when these muscles contract, it's going to pull your thumb over. So your brachioradialis is kind of right here, coming from your humerus down to your thumb. And so when it contracts, it supinates or pulls your thumb over. So it supinates your arm. The next muscle is your pronator teres. And to pronate means to turn your hand down, right? Well, teres, like extraterrestrial, teres means earth, so it means turn your palm to earth. And so think about where that would be. If you want to pull your thumb over and pronate and pull your hand down, that muscle's got to be somewhere here, right? So that it can pull your hand over. So your pronator teres is this little muscle right here. So you can imagine it going out toward the thumb, contracting, and pulling the thumb over. Let's see. I have a better picture of the pronator teres. Yes. So this muscle here, so this is looking at the inside of your elbow. Your pronator teres is this little muscle here. It kind of aims out toward your thumb so that it can grab your thumb and bring it over. That's your pronator teres. So that means it's an antagonist to your brachioradialis. So your brachioradialis brings your thumb, supinates your arm. Your pronator teres pronates your arm. And it works with the brachialis to allow you to salute. So remember, I said the brachialis flexes a pronated arm. So if you want to salute, you've got to pronate your arm first and then do that. So a salute is a pronation and a flexion at the same time. So they're working together as synergists. The last muscles are your flexor carpi and or carpi and extensor carpi. So your flexor and extensor carpi. I think I might have put an S in there earlier. If I did, I apologize. I was writing too. I looked back and went, there's no S in flexor. So if I did, just ignore it. And if I didn't, then I'm just dreaming. You have your flexor and extensor carpi. So these are muscles that do opposite actions. So that means they're antagonists. And carpi, remember our carpi means wrist. And so these are the muscles that basically flex and extend your wrist. Okay? So think about your wrist. If you flex your wrist, you're doing this. So where would those muscles be? They need to be here. And they're going to pull your wrist down. If you're going to straighten your wrist, those muscles have got to be on this side to pull your wrist back up. And you can actually feel those muscles working. If you put your hand on your forearm, you can feel those muscles when you flex and when you extend. Now, each one of, there's several different flexor carpi and extensor carpi muscles. We're going to go with a group name. You don't have to name each and every one of them. So these muscles that kind of extend down to the wrist on this side are your flexors. And if you turn the hand over, or the arm over, the muscles that extend down this way and bring your wrist back up, extend your wrist, are your extensor carpi. You also have flexor and extensor digitorum. So your digits are your fingers. Again, to flex your fingers, those muscles are going to be on this side, to bring your fingers down to flex. And to straighten your fingers, those muscles are going to be on this side. So this, again, is a group name. You've got your extensor digitorum on this side, and your flexor digitorum are going to be on this side. Now, for the test, again, because each one of your fingers has its own flexor digitorum and extensor digitorum, I'm not going to ask you that. I'm going to say, name the group of muscles that flexes the fingers, or name the group of muscles that extends the wrist. So you'll use flexor digitorum or extensor carpi, depending on what my question asks. And it'll be specific. I'm not going to make you wonder what I'm thinking. So if I ask you if you're moving fingers or your wrist, you'll use, for fingers, digitorum, wrist, you'll use carpi. If you're flexing, you'll use flexors. If you're straightening or extending, you'll use extensors. Okay, so muscles of the arms is pretty short, actually. There's just a couple of more figures from your book that you can also look at if you want to see a few more pictures. You can see your group muscles here, which are your flexors. Turn your hand over, and you can see all your extensors. And remember, these long white things that are going down, those are your tendons. One thing to pay attention to is when you move your fingers, those muscles that move your fingers are way up here in your forearm. You don't have a lot of muscles. There's not little muscles on your fingers. Okay, so you just have tendons going down to your fingers. The muscles that you have in your palm, that's for you to do things like that. Kind of bend your hand and grab things. So these are muscles that are actually between your metacarpals, but in order to move your fingers, you're actually using muscles inside the forearm. Okay, that's all there is to know about arms. So we'll stop here, and I'll see you in just a second, and we will do muscles of the legs.